Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at this pretty popular YouTube video
Okay.
called Brutally Honest Truth on How to Get Rich by this guy, Iman Godzi.
Right.
Now, I know 17 minutes can seem like a long time these days, but
Yeah.
we're going to be breaking down some of the
Key takeaways.
key takeaways from this video.
Yeah, get right to the meat of it.
Exactly.
The good stuff.
So, one of the first things that really struck me about this video was the kind of vulnerability and honesty that Godzi brings to the table.
Okay.
He talks about this idea of, making a lot of money, but still feeling trapped.
Yeah, that golden handcuffs kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, the golden handcuffs thing.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people can probably relate to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you think more money equals more freedom, but sometimes
it's just a different cage.
it's just a different cage.
Just a gilded cage, right?
Right.
And one of the concepts that he introduces early on is this idea of the unicorn complex.
Yeah, and he illustrates that with that example of the YKK zipper company.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who thinks about zippers,
Right.
but they make billions of dollars?
Exactly.
Like, it's just such a mundane thing,
Yeah.
but it's a huge business.
It is.
And it's this perfect example of how we get caught up
Right.
in this idea.
Like the next big thing.
The next big thing. Yeah, I need to discover something groundbreaking.
That no one's ever thought of before.
Right, exactly.
Instead of just looking at what's
What's already working.
already working.
That's already successful.
Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of
Aspiring entrepreneurs struggle with.
yeah, especially entrepreneurs
I mean,
get caught up in.
it's so easy to get caught up in that.
It is.
That hype.
Yeah.
That, oh, I need to be the next big tech unicorn.
Yeah.
But there's so much opportunity in those,
Yeah. Kind of like boring
Yeah, the boring businesses.
businesses. Yeah, like
Plumbing,
plumbing. Yeah.
waste management.
Waste management. Yeah.
Even those little packets of ketchup
Oh, good.
that you get at restaurants.
Like there's money to be made everywhere.
There is, yeah. And those are the businesses that are just quietly making bank.
Yeah. Consistently really profitable.
Yeah, year after year.
Exactly. And
And they're not sexy.
they're not sexy.
They're not going to get you
Right.
on the cover of Forbes magazine.
Right. Exactly.
But they're gonna
Providing
give you a good life
a good life. Yeah.
and a lot of freedom,
Potentially.
potentially.
And so Godzi is really kind of advocating for
Mhm.
this shift away from the unicorn complex
Right.
and more towards like
Focusing on what works.
it works, yeah.
Proven business models.
Yeah, proven business models. And he actually uses his own experience as an example.
Oh, right.
He talks about how his first successful business was an agency,
Yeah.
which is, not necessarily the most
Not the most glamour, cutting edge
yeah.
type of business.
But it worked.
But it worked.
And it allowed him to achieve a certain level of
Financial success.
Yeah. But then he kind of goes on to talk about how even though he was making good money, he still felt
Unfulfilled.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting because
It is. It's this kind of paradox that a lot of people experience.
you think like, oh,
If I could just make this much money,
hit this number,
everything will be fine.
everything will be great. All my problems will be solved.
I'll be happy.
I'll be happy.
But then you get there and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute. This isn't what I
This isn't what I expected.
expected at all. Yeah.
And he's very honest about
the struggles he went through,
yeah,
even when he was,
like the anxiety,
the
the
anxiety.
panic attacks.
Yeah.
He even talks about shaving his head, like
Right. Like in a moment of
just like crisis.
if feeling that pressure,
Yeah.
that weight.
And so he's really kind of highlighting this idea that money doesn't automatically equal freedom.
Right. It can actually create new constraints, new pressures.
Yeah.
And I think,
Expectations.
yeah, and that's something that I think a lot of people can relate to, even if they're not entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, I'm sure everyone has felt that pressure
Oh, yeah.
at some point in their life.
From a job.
From a job
Sure.
or
From
financial goals.
financial goals.
Even when it's something that,
Yeah. Should theoretically be happy about.
should theoretically be happy about.
Yeah.
But it's like that pressure to achieve,
Right.
the pressure to earn more.
Yeah, it can be.
It can be really overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what Godzi is really saying is it's not about chasing money for the sake of money.
Right.
It's about chasing the freedom.
For the freedom and the fulfillment that money can potentially bring.
Exactly. And he makes this really interesting point.
Okay.
He says you don't actually need millions of dollars to
Right.
achieve
Yeah.
freedom and a fulfilling lifestyle.
Right.
And he uses this comparison
Okay.
between like an investment banker
Mm-hmm.
who's making like $500,000 a year
Okay.
and a small business owner
Mm-hmm.
who's making maybe like $100,000 a year.
Right. So on paper,
On paper,
the investment banker is winning.
the investment banker is crushing it.
Yeah. Right.
Right. But then Gadsby says,
Okay.
let's look a little deeper.
Right. Let's look beyond
Yeah.
the surface.
Hit on those numbers.
Yeah.
And he points out that like
Mm-hmm.
this investment banker is probably working
80-hour weeks.
80-hour weeks. Yeah.
Sacrificing their time, their
Like,
health,
Their health,
their relationship
their relationships.
to achieve that income.
Yeah.
Their hourly rate
Yeah.
might actually be lower
Then the small business owner
than the small business owner. Yeah.
who's maybe only working 10 hours a week.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's this really interesting
Only framing.
reframing of the whole like wealth equation.
Yeah. It's not just about how much you earn.
Yeah.
It's about
It's about how you earn it.
how you earn it.
Yeah.
And the lifestyle
And the life
that it allows you to live.
that allows you to live.
Yeah.
Right. And so he's really saying like,
It's not just about the income.
it's not just about the income.
It's about the freedom,
It's about the freedom.
the flexibility.
Yeah. And he even goes on to say like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that investment banker
Yeah.
might be stuck in a
High cost city.
high cost city
Tied to
a certain location, a demanding schedule.
a demanding schedule,
Yeah.
while that small business owner
Mhm.
might have the freedom
To
work from anywhere,
work from anywhere,
travel the world,
travel the world,
you know,
live in a more affordable location.
live a more affordable lifestyle,
Exactly.
and have more disposable income,
Yeah.
even though they're making less on paper.
On paper, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's such a like powerful way to
Way to think about it.
think about it. Yeah.
To challenge those assumptions.
Yeah. What do we really
About wealth really means.
Yeah. What does wealth really mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about
It's not just about the zeros in your bank account.
the zeros in your bank account.
It's about the life that you're living.
It's about the life you're living and
Yeah.
the freedom that you have.
The experiences you're able to have,
Exactly.
the people you're able to spend time with.
The people you're able to spend time with.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's so compelling about
Yeah.
Gadsby's message is that
Mm-hmm.
he's not just saying like,
Go out and make
here's how to get rich quick.
$1 million.
Yeah, he's saying like,
He's talking about a fundamental shift in mindset,
let's whole thing.
a way to create a life
Yeah.
that prioritizes freedom,
Freedom.
purpose, and
And
fulfillment.
fulfillment alongside
Yeah.
financial security.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people are
Or craving.
craving these days,
Yeah. It's the thing.
especially in the world that we live in.
In a world where so many people are feeling
Burnt out.
burnt out and disillusioned.
Yeah. And just like kind of lost.
Lost.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's really offering this,
This alternative
this alternative path
to success
to success.
that doesn't have to involve
Right.
climbing the corporate ladder.
Climbing the corporate ladder or
Both.
sacrificing
Sacrificing health and your well-being.
your well-being
If
for a
he gets a
paycheck.
paycheck.
For a paycheck, yeah.
And he actually puts a number on it.
Okay.
He says, you know, you don't need to be a millionaire to achieve this,
Okay.
but he thinks that
Uh-huh.
$10,000 a month
Okay.
is kind of like that sweet spot.
Interesting.
And I'm really curious to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
What did you think about that number?
Well, I thought it was really interesting that he tied that back to his own experience.
Yeah.
He was saying he felt the most free
Mm-hmm.
when he was making around that much.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about,
Right.
having millions in the bank.
Right.
It was about having that level of income that provided
Yeah.
the flexibility to travel,
Uh-huh.
to pursue passions,
Right.
to spend time with loved ones,
Mm-hmm.
to have that control
That control
over his time,
over his time.
that autonomy, that ability to design his day.
Exactly.
And he equates that with true freedom.
Yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people
Strive for.
strive for. Yeah.
That feeling of not
Yeah.
being chained to a desk,
Yeah. Not being chained to
and
9 to 5.
being able to say yes to opportunities that,
Yes.
that excite you.
Whether it's a
Yeah.
spontaneous trip or
Right.
just like,
Or just having the space to explore
yeah,
a new hobby.
a new hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's suggesting that this is attainable
Yeah.
for many people,
Not just a
And
select few.
a select few,
Yeah.
through carefully chosen business models
Right.
and a focus on generating
Passive income.
Passive income.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so it's not about like,
Mm-hmm.
winning the lottery or inheriting a bunch of money.
It's not about getting lucky.
Yeah.
It's about
creating
a sustainable income stream that works for you.
That works for you.
That gives you the freedom to live life.
On your terms.
On your terms.
Yeah. And he even goes on to make this kind of like bold statement. He's like, someone making $10,000 a month in a business that offers location independence and time flexibility might actually be living a more fulfilling life than someone making $50,000 a month in a high-stress, high-demand job. Yeah. And it's like, whoa.
It makes you think.
It makes you think. Right? Like, what are we
really striving for here?
Striving for.
Is it just about, like...
maximizing our income?
Maximizing our income? Or is it about...
creating a life
that aligns with our values. Our passion. And gives us that sense of
freedom,
autonomy, and freedom. Yeah. And I think that's where Gadsby's message.
It really resonates. Yeah. It's about
this more
aligning your financial goal
holistic
with your overall well-being.
The success.
Yeah. It's a more holistic approach to success.
It's not just about the money.
Yeah, it's not just about...
It's about creating a life
the money
that you love.
Yeah.
That feels good.
It's about...
that brings you joy.
Yeah. Creating a life that you love.
Yeah. And it's incredibly empowering. Because it suggests that we have...
It suggests that...
more control...
over our destinies.
Than we might realize.
Yeah. It's not about...
It's not about waiting for
permission.
Or
waiting for some, like...
some external force.
To be like...
to grant us freedom.
Oh, you can be free now.
Right.
It's like...
we can start building that freedom.
We can start building that freedom.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's...
It's not saying everyone should aim for $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
Specifically.
He's not saying that everyone needs to make $10,000 a month. He's more saying, like...
it's more...
use that as, like, a thought experiment.
A thought experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, to challenge our assumptions.
To challenge our assumptions about...
what it takes.
Yeah.
To live.
What it takes to live.
A good life.
Yeah. Maybe for you it's $5,000.
Maybe it's $5,000.
A month.
Maybe it's $20,000.
Maybe it's $20,000 a month.
The point is
to like figure out
what that number means for you.
Yeah, what that number means
for you. And what it would take to achieve it.
Yeah.
And it's about getting clear on your priorities.
Yeah.
And designing a life that reflects those priorities.
It's
about understanding that freedom and fulfillment aren't tied to a specific income level.
Yeah.
But rather to the choices we make. And how we structure our lives. Yeah.
And that's a really empowering message.
It is, yeah.
Because it means that we don't have to wait for some
far off future
to
start living
the life.
A life we
want.
Yeah.
We can start taking steps.
Today. Right now. Whether it's exploring a side hustle. Learning a new skill. Finding ways to make our current work situation more flexible.
Yeah.
It all starts with that first step. That's right.
And I think
that brings us to the core.
What Gadsby's is, really.
Of Gadsby's message.
Emphasizing it's about taking ownership.
Yeah. He's not handing out...
he's not giving us a magic formula.
A magic formula for getting rich.
Yeah. He's not saying, like...
he's encouraging us...
here's the 3 steps.
To think differently.
Yeah, do these 3 things.
To question the status quo.
Yeah.
And
you'll be rich.
Create our own definition.
He's saying, like...
of success.
You got to figure this out for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's almost challenging us to
break free from
those.
These societal expectations.
That say, like...
that say we need to.
You got to climb the corporate ladder.
We got
to earn a 6-figure salary. Buy a big house. And then you'll be successful.
To be considered success.
And then you'll be successful.
Yeah. But he's suggesting that.
True success is about something much.
Internal fulfillment. Deeper.
It's about aligning our actions.
It's about with our values.
Aligning our actions with our values.
And creating a life.
that
that allows us to live authentically.
Authentic and meaningful.
And joyful.
It's joyful to us.
Yeah, regardless
Yeah.
of what society might dictate.
Regardless of what society says you should be doing.
Exactly.
And I think that's such an important message.
It is, especially today. Yeah.
When so many people are
feeling lost.
Lost, burnt out.
Disillusioned. Yeah, and just like kind of looking for something more.
Looking for something more.
Yeah. And Gadsby's video is really a reminder that there is another way.
There's another way.
There's a way to live a life.
To live a life
that's both successful.
And fulfilling.
And fulfilling. Yeah. A life that prioritizes. Freedom, purpose.
Purpose and well-being. Above all else. Yeah, and it all starts with making that choice. Yeah.
Choosing
to take control.
Choosing to
design a life. That reflects our values. Choosing freedom. Yeah.
And I think that's a perfect place to
wrap up this part of the discussion.
To wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Our deep dive into Iman Gadzhi's.
Yeah, into Iman Gadzhi's.
A brutally honest truth on how to get rich.
I mean,
we've talked about the unicorn complex.
Yeah, the unicorn complex. The importance.
The idea that money doesn't equal
the right business model.
Freedom.
Yeah.
And this idea of
and the idea that you don't need
millions.
Millions of dollars. To achieve a fulfilling life.
A fulfilling life?
Yeah.
I'm really excited to dive into the next part.
Where we're gonna talk about some of the specific strategies.
Explore some of the specific strategies.
Yeah.
That Gadzhi recommends. We're actually building that freedom.
And
achieving
that fulfilling life.
Yeah,
so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Well, I think what's important to remember is that $10,000 a month figure,
right?
It's not about everyone needs to hit that exact number.
Yeah. He's not saying
it's more of
everyone needs to make
$10,000 a month.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
To kind of challenge those assumptions about what it takes to live a good life.
Yeah, maybe for you it's $5,000 a month.
Right, or maybe it's $20,000.
Maybe it's $20,000.
Yeah. The point is to figure out what that number means for you. Yeah, what does that number mean for you?
And what would it take to achieve it?
What would it take to achieve it in a way that allows you to live that life that you want?
That gives you that freedom and flexibility.
Exactly.
And fulfillment.
So it's not necessarily about the specific number.
Right.
It's more about the lifestyle that number represents.
It's about getting clear on your priorities and designing a life that reflects those priorities.
Yeah.
It's about understanding that freedom and fulfillment aren't tied to a specific income level.
Right.
But rather to the choices we make and how we structure our lives.
Yeah. And that's a really empowering message because it means we don't have to wait for some far off future to start living the life we want. We can start taking steps today. Whether it's exploring a side hustle, learning a new skill, finding ways to make our current work situation more flexible. It all starts with that first step.
Yeah. And that's what I think is so powerful about Gadzhi's message.
Yeah.
It's about taking ownership.
Yeah.
He's not handing out a magic formula for getting rich.
He's not giving us a step-by-step guide.
Right. He's encouraging us to think differently.
Yeah, to question the status quo.
Yeah, to create our own definition of success.
And he's almost challenging us.
Yeah.
To break free from those societal expectations that say we need to climb the corporate ladder.
Right. Earn a six-figure salary, buy a big house, and then you'll be successful.
And then you'll be happy. And then you'll be successful.
Yeah. But he's suggesting that true success is about something much deeper. Yeah. Something more personal.
Yeah. It's about internal fulfillment.
Yeah,
it's about aligning our actions with our values.
And creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful to us.
Yeah. Regardless of what society might dictate.
Regardless of what society says. Yeah. And I think that message is so important, especially today.
When so many people are feeling burned out, disillusioned, and searching for something more.
Yeah.
And Gadzhi's video is really a reminder that there's another way.
There's another way.
A way to live a life that's both successful and fulfilling.
A life that prioritizes freedom, purpose, well-being, above all else.
And it all starts with making that choice.
Yeah.
Choosing to take control, choosing to design a life that reflects our values, choosing freedom.
Choosing freedom.
And that's what we hope you take away from this deep dive.
Absolutely.
Into Aman Gadzhi's brutally honest truth on how to get rich.
It's not just about the money.
Yeah, it's not just about the money. It's about
the life you create with it.
The life you create with it.
The freedom you design.
Yeah, the choices you made every single day.
The choices you make every single day.
Through
So
stuff.
keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning.
Keep pushing those boundaries.
Keep pushing those boundaries. And most importantly,
keep choosing freedom.
Keep choosing freedom.
Yeah.
It really does make you think about what you're willing to prioritize.
Yeah. Are you willing to trade a little bit of that potential income?
Right.
For more time with loved ones, more flexibility in your day-to-day.
Yeah.
Maybe even the chance to pursue a passion that might not bring in a huge salary, but truly lights you up.
Yeah.
These are the trade-offs that Gadzhi's video really pushes us to consider.
I think that's what I appreciate so much about his message. It's not a one-size-fits-all prescription for success.
Yeah.
You know, he's not saying like,
there's no magic formula.
Everyone needs to do this one thing.
Right.
It's more about recognizing
He's saying mindful.
That the path to freedom and fulfillment
of the choices we're making
looks different for everyone.
Yeah.
What works for one person might not work for another, and that's okay.
Exactly.
It's about taking an active role in shaping our lives.
Instead of just going with the flow.
Instead of just going with the flow, or worse.
Or worse, yeah.
Letting ourselves get swept up in
letting society dictate
what everyone else expects of us.
What we should be doing.
Yeah, and I think that's why
how we should be living.
His message resonates with so many people.
I agree.
He's encouraging us to think critically.
Yeah.
Question our assumptions about success.
Question those assumptions.
Create our own path.
And create our own path.
Yeah, he's empowering us to believe that we can create a life we genuinely love.
Yeah.
Even if that life looks different.
Even if it looks different.
From those traditional models of success that we're constantly bombarded with.
From what we see on social media.
Right. You know, the fancy cars, the big house, the corner office.
External markers of success.
Yeah. And it's so easy to fall into that trap of thinking we need to achieve a certain level of material wealth.
Right.
To be considered successful.
To be considered successful.
But Gadzhi reminds us that true success is about something
much deeper.
Deeper, much more personal.
Yeah.
It's about internal fulfillment.
It's about aligning our actions with our values.
Yeah. Aligning our actions with our values.
And living a life that feels...
Living a life that feels...
authentic and meaningful.
Authentic and meaningful to us.
To us.
Yeah. Regardless of what society might dictate.
Regardless of what society says.
And I think that message is so important, especially today.
I agree.
When so many people are feeling burnt out, disillusioned, and searching for something more.
Yeah.
Gadzhi's video reminds us that there's another way.
There's another way.
A way to live a life that's both successful and fulfilling.
That prioritizes freedom, purpose, well-being above all else.
Above all else.
Yeah.
And it all starts with making that choice.
Making that choice.
Choosing to take control. Choosing to design a life that reflects our values.
Choosing freedom.
Choosing freedom. And that's what we hope you take away from this deep dive into Aman Gadzhi's
brutally honest truth on how to get rich.
Brutally honest truth on how to get rich.
It's not just about the money.
It's not just about the money.
It's about the life you create with it.
It's about the life you create with it.
The freedom you design.
The freedom you design.
The choices you make every single day.
The choices you make every single day. So keep exploring, keep questioning, keep pushing those boundaries, and most importantly,
keep choosing freedom.
Keep choosing freedom. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep on learning and keep on growing.